Hey guys, are you interested in looking for a short-term rental property to buy on the Outer Banks? But before you do that, here are the top 3 things that you need to look for before you make that decision. So number 1, probably the most important thing on this list is location, location, location. Put yourself in the shoes of the person who'd be looking to rent a house. They're gonna wanna come out here on vacation, kick their feet up, ride a bike or walk to the beach. The last thing they're gonna wanna do is load up a car full of their kids or their equipment and try to find somewhere to park on a crowded beach. Now, is the Outer Banks all around close to the beach? Yeah, you don't have to have a beachfront property to keep it rented out for the whole season. But there are some things to keep in mind. I tell my clients that Kill Devil Hills, Nags Head, and Kitty Hawk have pretty much easy beach access all around. There are some areas that are further tucked back away from the beach that maybe aren't as accessible with a crosswalk to get across the highway. But overall, the ease of convenience for people to either go to the beach or to go to restaurants and shopping, everything's so close by they can walk or bike. Now somewhere like west side of Southern Shores, the sound side of Southern Shores, those neighborhoods are a little bit more tucked back away from the main highway, so it doesn't have as much ease of access for your renters to try to get around. Also, keep in mind, a lot of properties are for a lower sales price down in Hatteras. The reason for that is those properties don't get rented out as easily and for as much. So if you're looking for something that's a short-term rental that's going to be a cash cow, I would recommend doing so in Nags Head, Kill Devil Hills, Kitty Hawk, and you can even go into Duck and Corolla. Just make sure you have that convenience for your guests where it's easily accessible for them to get to the beach and other conveniences. Number 2 on this list is amenities. Now, amenities, that's not always something you need to have on a property when you buy it. You can add a lot of these things in, but some of them you may not be able to add in. Now, the top 3 things that people look for other than location when searching for a rental is going to be, is it pet friendly? Does it have a hot tub? And lastly, how's the outdoor living for it? Do you have a porch? Do you have an outside grill? People want to be hanging outside when they come to the Outer Banks. They don't want to be cooped up indoors. So even if they're not enjoying the beach for the day and they're hanging out at the house, they want to be able to feel like they're outside enjoying the outdoors and just relaxing. Another thing to keep in mind is after you buy your property, for the amenity side of things, is does your property have beach equipment that can be used by your guests? You know, boogie boards, kayaks, paddle boards, bikes. Those are all great things to have for your guests so they don't have to go out and rent them. Another thing to keep in mind when you're looking for a house to buy is going to be a kitchen and like living area size. Now, it doesn't have to be a mansion in order to keep it rented out or to attract renters, but you want to have something that's kind of has like a living area that's a little bit more open so that people can hang out in the kitchen and talk to their friends and family. And so coming in at number 3 on the list is going to be profitability. Now, what do I mean by profitability? The first 2 things that I listed, location and amenities, they obviously factor in the most into how profitable your rental property can be. Whenever a buyer is looking for a home out here, oftentimes the sellers have a history of the rental income that they've gathered over the years that they can show and present to the buyer with how profitable their property is. If the seller doesn't have a short-term rental history that shows their numbers throughout the years, another thing you can do is go through many of the companies, the rental companies out here. What they can do is give you a quick estimate on what they think you could annually bring in for revenue on your property out here. They'll run kind of an algorithm based on their rentals and the other numbers that they're seeing to show you what a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house on the west side of Kill Devil Hills can rent for at around 1,200 square feet. Now, to wrap things up, if you buy a property here in the Outer Banks and you want to rent it out as short-term rental, you're probably not going to have a hard time doing so. So I thought it would just be a good idea to provide this list for people who want to really maximize their potential on their short-term rental. If If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Thanks.